Hey guys, it's Charlie behind the camera. I've got you on my phone cam. I am on a walk. I'm reversing the walk I did the other day, and we're going to stop at the top and have a bit of a chat about this year so far, how I'm feeling. So in order to do that, I think I need to keep walking. But that view is amazing, isn't it? Good morning. Another view from the top. I've got maybe 500 meters until I get to the top. Beautiful, hey? Sorry about the painting. I made it to my spot. I was going to do it at the top, but there were some people there, and I felt a little bit self-conscious. Isn't quite the right word, because I'm not necessarily a self-conscious person, but I felt like I wanted to be able to just sort of think my way through what I want to say, and maybe just keep it between us, which I know is incredibly ironic because this is the internet, but you guys are seeing this later on and they could come up and talk to me. So yeah, anyway, inner workings of my brain today. It's now 2026 and I woke up on New Year's Day and I thought, holy shit, this is the year that I lose my job. And then I thought, well, hang on, are you losing something or finding something? And I had a bit of a think about that while I was having a coffee, and it took me a little while to kind of just, I guess, be at peace with the fact that I'm not really losing anything. I'm being given an opportunity. I chose an opportunity, or I chose to take an opportunity or a risk. As you can see, I didn't quite land on it then either. But it's still 9 months away, 9 pays, which I think will go pretty quickly. I think as you get older, things do go a bit more quickly. And I see Finny growing, and life just seems to go by in a flash. So now I sit here and I say that, I think, well, what an awesome opportunity you've got. What an awesome opportunity you've had the balls to kind of go after. Wow. See? There you go. Light bulb moment. So how's it all going? Well, I got ahead of my pins. Basically trying to grow a learning brand is something I've never tried to do before. I started doing all my pins. I think I've shown you guys a couple, and I got ahead of doing 3 pins per day, pre-posting them, and there's some work I do every day to try and get Pinterest to pick up kind of like what we're doing and start showing it to more people, and hit the algorithm properly, because it's still, I guess, kind of assessing for the first 90 days what type of organisation, what type of content we're putting on Pinterest. So I think I'm getting about 170 views a day on average, so it's growing, but no, not many saves. I think I've had about 4 saves, and I can't quite work out whether they were mine when I changed boards for some of my pins. And website traffic is not currently coming from Pinterest, but we're getting a lot of direct traffic. But I think it might be because we're using the old Ninjadoodle website. People are still coming looking for Tom's other games. So that's that. We haven't started the social media side of things really yet. We want to try and do that in the maybe 5 weeks before we launch at the end of February. I've had maybe 3 legitimate subscribers to our founders list, which it's kind of exciting, I guess. People have found us somehow and were interested enough to give us their email address. And it's on my mailing list. I don't like signing up for things to get a freebie. I like to be able to see your content and then decide whether I want to sign up. So that's how I took my mailing list approach. So you can go to the website and you can have a look at an example of a printable and an example of the game Jungle Numbers. And then if you want to see more, and if you want a discount code that will give you a discounted membership for the life of your membership annually, you can give us your email. So if you feel like going to have a look, that would be really cool. So that's happening. Tom and I are on holiday, as you already know, but we're still doing some work. So we managed to come up with a click play game, which will always be free. And we also decided to ensure that Tom feels fulfilled. He wanted to be able to also make Ninjadoodle games. So things that aren't explicit learning connected to a curriculum, but games that teach different concepts, pattern recognition, shapes, logic, rebuses, all sorts of things, the things that he normally does when he makes games. He wanted to have that as part of a Ninjadoodle arcade, which will be on Ninjadoodle Learning as well. So that's pretty cool. I'm really stoked that he decided that he wanted to do that, because I don't know if I told you, Tom is actually now making the games. I tried, and it was super fun, and I'm still going to keep going and trying to learn, but maybe when I'm not working. I started off Jungle Numbers, I designed the monkeys, I got the whole framework of the first level right, and I was so proud. And then Tom says, oh, maybe you should juice it a little. And I was like, okay, well, he's like, make the monkeys drop into the screen and then do a little bounce. And I was like, okay, cool. And I googled how to do that, and I got my code and I hit run, and the monkeys dropped in and then flew out. Like literally flew out the side of the screen. That wasn't supposed to happen. So I was like, and he says, oh, well, I can help you with that if you want. And I said, oh, that would be cool. So he talked me through how to do it, and then he's like, maybe you could make it so that if you get a wrong answer, the monkey goes and does a little shake. So I thought, okay, I'll try that. So again, I went and googled how to do it and got my code ready inside Construct, and it basically deleted the monkey. And I was like, okay. He says, well, would you like me to help you with that? He's very kind with his time, and he's very patient with me, because this is a new way of thinking for me. I'm very operational, logical with my line of work currently. And I was like, okay, that would be amazing. And so he made it go when that got wrong, and yay when they got it right, which was awesome. And it takes him like that. I guess it's just years of experience. And so I got to admit, I was a little bit despondent. I was like, oh, it's going to take so long for me to be able to actually do this. And I wanted to be able to move into it straight away when I finished my job, and not have to go back to work and make this my work. So yeah, I was a little bit that night. And then the next day I had to go again, and I got some stuff right, but I also figured out how long this was actually going to take me to be able to produce something that was really quality, that had entertainment value, that looked really good, combined with actually being decently educational. And so I just sort of said to Tom, hey, he was right in the middle of doing some chin-ups, and I said, hey, I was just wondering whether you'd like to do this with me, because I'm thinking that I'm going to need to do a lot of practicing and a lot of learning to be able to make games, which I'm totally willing to do, but you've already got that, and I wondered whether you would like to do it with me. And it was very cool. I think there's a person coming past on a mower, so I might have to just put this down for a sec. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll be back in a minute. There's the mower. He was mowing the grass path up the top, so I hustled my way through so I didn't get stuck behind the mower. Okay, so I'm back. I think I was saying that I interrupted him when he was doing a chin-up. Maybe I waited till he'd finished, and I asked him if he'd like to come along and do this with me, because he's been wondering how he would get back into making games. It's something he really loves. And currently he mows lawns and teaches fitness classes, and is a stay-at-home dad, even though Finn's at school now, but he does all of the stuff during school hours, so he's available for Finn, which is super cool, and I'm so glad that we've been able to do it that way. And he said, yeah, I think that would be really cool. You know, you can do the learning side of it, you can kind of come up with a mechanic, you can come up with the ideas, the levels, and then he will take it and he will make it into a game, and he will basically be the game maker, the person who is the real creative brains behind it, making everything look and feel like a really cool learning experience. So I realise how lucky I am to be able to have somebody co-found this with me and do it alongside me. And I think one of the cool things, both of us can be a little bit, maybe a bit feisty or a bit passionate, and latch onto something and maybe not be as flexible or as open to someone else's perspective on a project like this than we could be, and so that's one of the things that I know about myself, that I'm making sure that I don't bring into this endeavour. I listen and I ask questions, I try and understand the gaps in my knowledge, and Tom is doing the same. So and we haven't even talked about doing that. It's kind of just happening, which is very cool. So that's happening, and on holiday we're sitting down and we're just trying to come up with I've got a curriculum guide that I've pulled together and some game ideas, we're releasing 2 per month and 2 printables, and he will then release a click play every quarter, and then another game that of his choosing that fits in with a Ninjadoodle arcade type of thing. So we're working on that, just half an hour here, half an hour there, over breakfast, over coffee, because we want to be actually really fully present on our holidays. So that's where we're at the moment. Where does that leave us? I think there's like a realization that I'm going to need to actually work at the end of my role with where I am now when I'm made redundant, until Ninjadoodle picks up, until it becomes something that has evergreen content, and we've got enough people supporting what we're doing, or actually buying what we're making and selling what we've got out there. I haven't given up on the idea of freedom though. Like this is not me doing it in about face. It's me going, you know what, you're going to need to take a step between now and not having to work for others. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going to start consulting. I've been encouraged by some really amazing people who've worked with me throughout my career to take a step and start thinking maybe about fractional supply chain and supply planning work, consulting into small and medium-sized businesses who maybe can't bring in a person full-time, or who have a little bit of work they'd like to be done, whether it be continuous improvement, planning processes, supply chain processes, looking at transport, procurement, warehousing, any of the types of things that go in with actually running the supply chain side of a business. I've touched it all throughout my career. They're all intertwined, and for once in my life I've actually got some confidence that I'm going to be able to deploy my skill elsewhere. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll be setting up a consultancy, or using my brand and my knowledge to help others for a fee, so that I can still have freedom. I can still pick my hours, I can still work with people, I can still deploy my knowledge that I've spent 26 years obtaining, and I can still use the skill that people have helped me obtain as well. So that is going to be happening as well. So now I've got my current job, which I want to smash it this year, as I do every year. I want to learn new things. I want to support my people that I work with, because it's hard for them as well. They know I'm going. A few of them still have to leave, and I don't think this will be the end of the changes. So not only seeing myself right, but seeing the people around me right as well is one of my goals for this year, as it comes to my actual role. Doing Ninjadoodle Learning, so spending an hour or so on that every day, a little bit more time in the weekend when Finney is in bed, and then setting up my consultancy for supply chain operations and S&OP. So yeah, there's going to be a lot on this year. I'm looking forward to it. Am I daunted? Abso-fucking-lutely I am, but I also know I can do it. I'm going to give it my best shot, and I'm going to continue to do this, because why not? If what I'm doing, if what I'm going through, if what I'm choosing to put my mind to can help somebody else maybe take the first step or feel brave in the moment where they've got the opportunity to take a risk and do something better for themselves, then hell yeah. And maybe it's a good thing for Finn to look back on for what Mum was able to do. It also captures family memories, which are amazing as well. So that's where I'm at the moment. I think that was about it. Right now I'm going to continue back on my walk, back down along the beach. I'll show you what the beach is looking like today when we get down there. But yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. I'm going to get back on with it, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. We're out of the gravel and we're heading down to the beach. And she is such a different picture than she was yesterday. It was raining and grey, but the boys still came down and had a great boogie board after Tom got a wetsuit. This is the full beach. Kind of deserted, but perfect. Bit of a breeze and plenty of hard sand for walking on as we go back up to the camp that way. I'm back from my walk, and we're making sandwiches. By we, Tom decided he wanted to make some eggs to go with ham, cheese and egg sandwiches, and sourdough from today. And I've also been munching on these, which are amazing. These are wineberries, and we gathered them on the way back from this morning's venture to Whakatane Market. And then Tom and Finn accompanied me on the first part of my walk, and they went and got some blackberries. So we're going to have a side of blackberries and mashed egg and ham and cheese. And I also bought sourdough. Do you want some sourdough? Hey, where are you going? Hey.
Yes, I want some sourdough.
You want some sourdough?
I love sourdough.
I love you.
My favorite bread.
Mwah. Gross.
So that's where I'm at. This year, my job goes. I mean, I know I chose it, but still, there goes the safety net. But maybe, just maybe, that's the moment the real stuff can begin. Building something from scratch and creating work that fits around me and my life. It's scary, yeah, but also kind of exciting. Thanks for walking through my thoughts with me, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.